We already talked about edema and lymphedema. Here's just a nice little written description if you'd like to take a picture of it. But to review, edema, or what's known as lymphedema, there we go, is the abnormal accumulation of fluids due to a sluggish or overloaded lymphatic transport system. There is primary and secondary lymphedema. Primary, you're what?
It's genetic.
It's genetic. You're born with it. Secondary, trauma to the lymphatic system. It's been damaged. It's been altered in some way. As we said, pitting edema. Here's a picture of an individual, a lady who had a mastectomy. So the side where the breast tissue was removed, they also took clearly the lymph nodes in the axillary area. Her lymphatic system does not flow the way it should. So she has secondary lymphedema. Enlarged lymph nodes. These aren't an issue themselves. They're secondary. They're indicative of an infection. So what happens when somebody has enlarged lymph nodes? What do? Skip it. We gotta wait till the infection has subsided. Allergies. This is a hypersensitivity reaction. Common ones are hay fever, which we see year-round here. That runny nose, those itchy, watery eyes, and the things are running. If you're, not to get gross, but if your nose is runny and it's clear, that's not really a sign of infection. That's probably an allergic reaction. But when you start getting that milky or that green mucus, that green snot coming out of your nose, that's a sign of infection. So now, these hay fever allergies that we so commonly see around here can lead to an infection because as you're having a histamine reaction, you take what? You take Benadryl. You take a histamine blocker. Because remember, histamine is involved with inflammation, causing an inflammatory response. But we're having an overreaction. So you take some Benadryl, you go about your day. Maybe you take some Claritin, some whatever. Some over-the-counter allergy medicines. Let's say you don't catch it in time though. That inflammation can trap all that in your face and it can lead to a sinus infection. Pathogens, along with our allergens, have been trapped in our face and now we have an active infection. So headaches, fever, just the worst kind of congestion and stuffiness. You can also have contact dermatitis. Poison ivy. Y'all watch out, there's poison ivy out there. You know what it looks like? Don't touch it. Latex, as we said. You can be allergic to animals, animal dander. Metals. Medications, foods. If somebody has severe allergies, the only thing you might want to be aware of is the type of aromatherapy you use. Maybe stay away from florals. If they have a citrus allergy, don't put sweet orange or grapefruit in your diffuser. That's not cool. But maybe you could put some eucalyptus or some peppermint in there to kind of help open things up. Those two are vasodilative. They help to open vessels. If they're having severe allergies, being face down might just will make everything worse. So alternatives could be doing sideline or just face up. You can do a little sinus treatment massage with some aromatherapy, some cold stones to kind of calm things down. Because allergies aren't contagious, and as long as it's not an active infection like a sinus infection, you're okay to work on them. If it's a skin contact allergy like with poison ivy, you're going to locally skip that area. If it just happened yesterday, you're going to give it a couple days. Like, hey, let's wait a little bit to see where this poison ivy manifests. Because remember, it's like 3 to 4 days later that it all is going to pop up. So they're contagious within that period. Remember talking about that with the integumentary system? The oil doesn't even come off in the shower. Anybody here like not allergic to poison ivy? Okay, that's surprising though.
I've never had it. I don't know what that means.
What?
I've never had it.
You might not be allergic to it.
Gorilla. That's
Yeah,
what it
we'll
is.
point it to you outside. You just take it, you just rub it in your hands. Don't
Is
don't
that
do
what
that.
it
I touched it once before when I didn't have any sort of.
Okay.
There's a poison ivy is the most common one around here. We also have Virginia creeper. It's grown on that big oak tree. The ivy that's grown on the side looks like pot leaves. That's Virginia creeper. It is also can cause contact dermatitis, so don't touch it. A lot of people are allergic to it, but not as many as are allergic to poison ivy. Poison sumac and poison oak aren't super big in this region, but man, we love us some poison ivy. We talked about chronic fatigue syndrome. It's severe fatigue and exhaustion. It is debilitating. These people are worn out. They cannot stay awake, and the sleep they get is not restful.
I think I met somebody who had this with a VA diagnosed her with, what's the thing?
Narcolepsy?
Yeah, narcolepsy.
Yeah.
They diagnosed her with that, but I'm pretty sure it was this.
So like fevers, body aches, almost like a cold.
She was always tired,
Mhm.
always like bogged down.
There's like a lot of mental fog too.
Oh yeah, big
Um,
time.
Let's see, what else we got? Flu-like symptoms, sore throat, headache, unexplained muscle soreness. Something's going on in people who have this. We just haven't figured it out yet.
For her, it was like after a really intense deployment that happened.
It was like kind of triggered it, like
Yeah.
emotional trauma
Maybe.
triggered something.
Yeah, it could be.
I haven't heard or read of any research done onto the emotional side of it, like if that's the trigger. Because emotional stress can have physical effects on the body, absolutely. Especially if it's like deeply ingrained into you.
She was put on these like crazy, they were doing these convoys that were going like 30 hours some days and all this crazy stuff. So she's like, wanted to stay awake for these long periods of time throughout it. So I don't know if it was to do with that or stress.
It'd be interesting to see all the people who did that with her, like
Yeah.
how they are affected.
She said there's 2 other people from her deployment that it came out the same thing.
Listen,
That's crazy.
I'm not saying anything. Well, I'm saying things. If somebody has this, you're just gonna kind of tailor the massage to where they're at that day, which is what we do anyway, you know? Where are we at? Just gonna do a light pressure massage because they've got some body aches. This is not contagious, and even though they don't have a fever, it's very low grade. Or even though they have a fever that is very low grade, it's not due to an infection per se. And not everybody in the world is 98.6. I feel like during COVID, we all kind of figured that out. Y'all were getting your temperature checked everywhere, right? Those little zappy zaps. Those zappy thermometers. I remember those from just working in a restaurant. And then suddenly everybody has them now. Those are handy. How many in here is actually, anybody here in that 98.6?
Yeah, about
This white man in his 30s right here?
that.
That's where that number came from. It's the temperature.
We're still doing temperature checks. Like how I had that day, the usual felt one I had, and it was kind of a hotter day out. And it
But
came up
that is
like-
where that number came from.
Yeah.
Most people you're
They
gonna
had me
hit
sit
in the
down somewhere, cool
96,
down, and then
97.
took my temperature.
Some people run hot. Some people.
me.
Where are you, like 99 something? And that's just normal for you.
Yep.
Our old teacher Jeannie was the same way. If you put it in that 98.6 thing, she was always in like 99 somewhere, trending towards 100 but not 100. That was just
Like
normal.
991, 993.
That's just normal for her. That's normal for you. That's how your body operates. I'm like 95, 96. When we started COVID thing, I was like, am I okay? Is this normal? It is. It's normal. My doctor's like, yeah, that's fine. If you're constantly hitting this, that's normal for you.
Does your normal body temperature affect how well you could tolerate heat?
Probably, yeah. How's your tolerance for heat?
I've got a real good tolerance for heat.
I think my tolerance is there. I just mentally, I don't like it. I can
But you
handle
get
it.
hot easily, right?
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
get hot?
I think I'm just hot all the time. So like I'm hot right now, and I feel like we have the heat on right now.
Oh, we do.
I'm never cold.
Okay.
I feel like I need this weather.
I
Yeah.
feel perfect homeostasis.
Are you?
That's what I'm telling you. I get it. If I'm ever cold,
We
just
get it.
send me to the hospital.
So to answer your question, yeah. Those of us who run, do you run low usually?
Mm-hmm.
Those of us who run low, we're pretty cold and tolerant. How do you like the heat, Hannah?
Love it. Like Florida was my
Yeah. Never hot
hot
enough.
and humid. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Blizzard. Yeah. I'm the same.
I'm like
So,
in the
yeah.
I'm like in the 99 category, and I wore long sleeves at Disney and didn't get bothered by it.
No?
No.
Just you're very tolerant of the heat then.
That's why when you get my age, you'll be all over the place.
Mm.
One minute you're cold, 1 minute you're sweating.
I'm looking for the other side of that
Right.
when I'm done with it. All right, so lupus or systemic lupus erythematosus, SLE. So under the category of autoimmune disorders are those where your body, similar to an allergic reaction, has an overreaction, but the overreaction that's occurring is due to our own body tissue. So we learned with rheumatoid arthritis, our body is attacking the synovial membranes of all of our joints. With lupus, it's going all body tissues.
So I don't know if you're on a certain page.
Nope. Take a picture of it. It is probably in the Salvo book.
Or I can send you the YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, I encourage you guys to take pictures of these slides. I cannot
do
send
that.
them, unfortunately. But you're more than welcome to take pictures. They're on the camera too. You guys can have this information. But in this instance, just like with RA, it attacks your synovial membranes. With lupus, it attacks all connective tissue. So a different category of fascial attack. So your connective tissue that's under your skin, all around your muscles, all around your organs, everywhere. It is systemic inflammation. With all autoimmunes, periods of remission, periods of exacerbation. These individuals will have flare-ups. Sometimes you could have this butterfly rash on your face, where it's like a redness. Not to be confused with rosacea, which is kind of always there. This rash will fluctuate if you have it. And not to be confused with what pregnant women get. It's not my asthma. It's my anybody, Bueller. It also starts with an M. I apologize. It's escaped my brain. But it's also a butterfly rash, but it's more of like a beige color. And it's brought on by hormones from pregnancy. Just like that line that pregnant women can get on their belly. This one's a red rash that comes and it goes. But it's not always there. With this, you can get swollen lymph nodes, pain, swelling, fatigue, sometimes fever.
Elation?
It's
Yes.
something- and it's
Malagia. Malagia. It's an M word. Yes. But it's brown. It's like beige colored. Thank you. It's there somewhere. During a flare-up, as with any autoimmune disorder, it's a contraindication to receive a massage. Usually going to be more gentle. You just go with their tolerance. You know, you had a massage before, what worked for you in the past, what didn't. If they've never had a massage, you're like, all right, we're just going to do all over and we're going to be super chill with it today. We're just going to do a nice little Swedish, and then I'll check in with you in the next day or two. I just want to see how your body tolerates this session. If you're doing targeted work, you need to go very, very slowly when you go deep and keep it more broad than doing like fine trigger point work. You can do trigger point work, but you're going to keep it broad. The contraindications and considerations for this are the exact same for RA. It's all the same. It's the symptoms and what's being attacked that are different. But how we as therapists treat and approach, that's the same. Next, last one